Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and this is another 10-minute full body morning yoga stretch. You guys love these. I have a ton on my channel, so definitely if you want more, check out the playlists and the videos that are linked in the description box. But otherwise, let's just begin. So lay down on your back. You don't need any props for this practice. And this is assuming that you've just gotten out of bed. Muscles are probably a little bit achy. So we're just gonna start by drawing our knees in towards the belly. And you might stay, still here, or you might find it really nice to just rock a little bit side to side, massaging your lower back. Just take a few breaths here to just connect and notice how you feel this morning. And practicing yoga in the morning can be a really great way to kind of set the tone for the day ahead. So what kind of day would you like to have right now? If there was one word that you could use as your intention for the day, what would it be? And with your hands on your knees, you might widen them a little bit more so that they're going more towards your shoulders and your armpits. And then you can just make some very gentle movements. So moving the knees away from you and then bringing them back in, kind of like this little pumping motion. And the knees can go wide and out. There's really no right or wrong way to do this one. Just get some movement through the pelvis, checking out to see what's going on this morning. And we'll bring our feet back down to the mat with the knees bent. And you can cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Keep that foot flexed and maybe this is enough. Or you can reach through with your arms and draw your left knee in towards your belly. So taking your reclined pigeon pose, stretch, shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears, relax your head, relax your neck. Give it one last little squeeze. And then the left foot comes back to the floor. Stretch your right leg up towards the sky and maybe hold on to either the back of the hamstrings or the back of the calf and flex your foot and then point your foot. And do that a few times here, alternating. Just noticing what kind of tension might be present here. Slow, steady breaths in and out through your nose. And then bend into the knees so that both feet can be flat to the floor. Push into your heels and lift up to your bridge pose. Squeeze your inner thighs together so your knees stay directly over your ankles. Dig down through your heels to lift your pelvis up even higher, strengthening your lower body. Exhale, roll and unwind from this one. Let's cross the left ankle over the top of our right knee, maybe hanging out here, or going further by pulling your right knee into your belly. So you do need a little bit of arm strength here, but we don't want it to be too much. Not trying to strain or overwork. Give it one last squeeze before setting your right foot down and straighten your left leg up towards the sky. Hold on to the back of the leg wherever feels the most appropriate for you here and just alternate between flexing and pointing. So really targeting the entire back of that left leg. Coming back into our bridge pose, feet flat to the floor, knees are hip width distance apart. Push and lift up. Squeeze in through your inner thighs. See if you can lift and squeeze your glutes a little bit more before slowly coming down inch by inch, and just widen your feet here and let your knees drop side to side in a little windshield wiper motion. And let's come up to take a seat so you can just rock up and bring one shin in front of the other. So right shin stacks in front and we're just gonna fold forward. So lengthen out with your hands. You might keep your elbows lifted off of the floor. We're not here too long. But really try to lift out of the low back. Take a big breath in here. And then walk your hands forward so that you're lifted back up. And we'll take a twist. So left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you. Open up your chest. Maybe even looking over that right shoulder. Lift and lengthen a little more. And exhale, coming back through to center, and we'll switch sides. Left shin in front of the right one. Lift up tall and maintain this length as you reach your hands forward and fold. Totally normal for one side to feel a little bit more stiff than the other. But more important than the poses and the shapes that we're taking is the breath. So throughout these 10 minutes, breathe deeply all the way into your belly. Come back up, and we'll take a twist to the other side. So right hand to your left knee, open up wide, maybe looking over your left shoulder. And release, come back to center, tabletop pose. So from our tabletop pose, instead of having our hands directly underneath our shoulders, I'll ask that you walk your hands a couple inches forward, and then we're gonna tuck our toes under. Keep your spine nice and straight, and just see if you can lift the knees an inch or two off the floor. So this is your floating tabletop pose. Squeeze through your belly, take an inhale here, and as you exhale, just straighten your legs so that you're in your plank. Big inhale in plank, exhale back to that floating tabletop pose. Inhale to hold, and now exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So we're gonna do that a few times, moving in and out of those 3 poses. So floating table, straighten the legs to plank. Back to floating table, downward facing dog, lift your hips up high. 2 more here. Floating table, plank pose, floating table, downward facing dog. Last one, you can do it. Floating table, all the way forward to plank, all the way back, and lift downward dog. And let's hang out in this down dog. So you might want to paddle your feet or sway your head. Any little adjustments that feel good to you here. And let's reach our right leg up towards the sky, bend your right knee, open up your hip as wide as it'll go, get a big side body stretch, and step your right foot in between your palms to the top of the mat. Keep your left hand down, right arm up, easy twist. And right hand comes back down to the floor. Now push into your feet. We're gonna come up and lift to our high lunge. Arms stretching up overhead, super straight through your spine. Bring your hands together at the front of the heart. So we began our class in reclined pigeon. Now we're gonna come into standing pigeon pose. So you're gonna stand on that right leg and see if you can cross your left ankle over the top of your knee. Bend into your right knee and send your hips back as you lean your chest forward. We're looking for a nice sensation through that left hip and left glute. Sink down a tiny bit lower and push into that standing leg to come back out. Feet hip width distance apart, maybe even a little bit wider. Interlace your fingers behind your lower back. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, open into a back bend. And then exhale, bend your knees and fold belly over the thighs as you reach your knuckles up and over. So you can definitely bend your elbows here. They don't have to be straight. We don't want to hyperextend or lock into the joints. And think of rolling your shoulders away from your ears. One more inhale here. And release fingertips down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your palms, find your plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, lower to your belly all the way to the floor. Point your toes back. Take a back bend in your cobra. Keep your elbows bent and hugging in. Exhale to release, downward facing dog, and we're ready to do the sequence on the other side. From your down dog, extend your left leg up to the sky, bend your knee, open up that hip as wide as it'll go. And we're gonna step to our easy twist. So the left foot goes in between the hands. Keep your right palm under your shoulder and stretch your left arm up to the sky. So trying to widen the hands away from one another. Left fingertips come down to the mat. Push into the feet in order to lift up into your high lunge. And bring your hands together at the front of your heart. We're gonna step up into our standing pigeon pose, crossing the right ankle over the top of that left knee. Sink your hips back, chest forward. So straight spine here, roll your shoulders back. See if you can sink down even lower into the pose. Push into that supporting leg and release. Feet go wide again. This time you're gonna interlace, bring your other hand and other thumb on top, so interlacing the more unusual way. Start with a little back bend first as you open through the heart. And exhale, soften the knees as you lift the knuckles up and over. So you definitely don't need to have straight legs here. It's totally fine to keep a bend in them. Always be mindful of your lower back, checking in to see how things feel for you. And hands come down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale to plank pose. We lower all the way to our belly. Cobra, inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. And from this down dog, set your knees down to the mat. And I always finish these morning practices seated. Otherwise, I fall asleep if I do Shavasana, but you can definitely do Shavasana at home. Otherwise, just sit up nice and tall. Roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. And maybe bring your palms together at the front of your heart. And once again, for the day ahead, what is one word that comes to mind? An intention you would like to set for the rest of your day. And you don't need to overthink it. Maybe just the first word that comes to mind. And we'll set this intention and close our practice with the chant of Om one time. Inhale to chant, big breath in. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis. I hope you enjoyed this morning practice, and I would love to know what word you picked as your intention, so please leave me a comment down below and let me know. And like I mentioned, I have a bunch of other classes just like these, so it's definitely better to do a little bit of yoga every single day rather than trying to fit in super long classes every now and again. So I would love for you to go ahead and, make a playlist for yourself, or better yet, if you get the Yoga with Kassandra mobile app, you can actually schedule all of these 10-minute classes or however long you want them in our in-app calendar, and the calendar is going to notify you when it's time for you to get on your mat, just to help keep you accountable, to make sure that you are keeping on track with the goals that you set for yourself. All right, thank you so much. Please subscribe if you don't already, and I hope to practice again with you soon. Namaste.